Kia ora e te iwi and welcome to this special episode of Playmakers as we look ahead to UFC 266 live from Las Vegas. Joining me today is a very special guest, UFC President Dana White. Kia ora and hello, Dana White.
Hi, how are you?
I'm very good, thank you. How is yourself?
Everything's good, yeah. I'm excited for this card.
Before we get into that card, Dana, little old New Zealand really does pack a punch. What have you made of the New Zealand talent that have graced the octagon over the years?
Yeah, it's funny, God, I don't even know how many years ago it was when we went into that region, New Zealand and Australia. There were a couple of guys coming out of that country that were able to compete here. And now when you look at the talent level, it's unbelievable, not just from Australia, but from New Zealand also.
Dan Hooker will be on the UFC 266 prelims. He's celebrating 7 years with the UFC this month. What have you made of his career in the UFC?
Yeah, it's unbelievable. What is he right now? He is ranked number 8 in the world. Anybody who can obviously stay in the UFC for that long and to be able to break into the top 10 is very, very hard to do. We are truly a global sport. We have fighters from all over the world. And to be in the top 10 in the UFC and last as long as he has here, it's very impressive.
He's copped a bit of controversy for taking an unranked fighter for this card, but explain the magnitude of being a part of a card such as UFC 266, which is absolutely stacked.
Sometimes that happens, guys that are ranked in the top 10 or 10, 15, sometimes everybody's booked. We have that situation right now. Gilbert Burns, who's the number 2 welterweight in the world, wants to fight, but all the guys that make sense for him to fight are booked. So, sometimes you got to take somebody that's not ranked. And listen, if you're ranked in the top 10, you shouldn't be worried about a guy that's not ranked.
Here in New Zealand, we have missed the UFC coming back to New Zealand. It's been a little while now. COVID-19 has not helped that situation at all. But are there plans for the UFC to return back to to New Zealand in the near future?
Yeah. Obviously, it's a massive market for us, and but it's it's a nutty world out there right now. It's we're having enough trouble operating here in the U.S. in certain states. So trying to get over there is, I don't know, honestly, how soon it's going to be.
Another fighter that comes out of New Zealand is obviously our champion, Israel Adesanya. He is the middleweight champion right now. Give us a little breakdown of what you think of him as a fighter and what is it about him that makes him such a great champion?
Yeah, Israel's the man. If you look at what he's done, he's undefeated right now in the middleweight division. He's 10-0. Ranked number 3 pound for pound in the world. Glory kickboxer. He went 75-5 there. Not just here in the UFC, but in combat sports, Israel Adesanya is one of the best ever.
In terms of his future fights down here, we've obviously been waiting to see when he'll face Robert Whittaker again. Obviously, they're our neighboring rivals. Is that a fight that you want to see in the near future? And could that possibly be a fight coming to New Zealand?
You got the champion versus the number 1 contender in the world. It has to happen. It should have happened before. Whittaker wasn't ready for that fight. It's going to happen.
How does that work? Like in terms of, getting those fights to happen, obviously both fighters would want that to be happening, in their own countries. What kind of planning does that take for you as the UFC president to try and make that happen?
Yeah, well, it's all about timing. You got guys that get injuries, guys that have personal things going on. So there's a lot of things that you have to work around to make a fight. But I expect this fight to happen sooner than later.
Looking forward to UFC 266, Dana. The card is absolutely huge. If you're not a part of the UFC 266 card, it's probably a card you want to be a part of. You don't want to miss it. Biggest card this year. What are your thoughts on it? And how happy are you with it moving forward? Yeah,
no, I'm excited. It feels like we've been doing a lot of fights at the Apex lately. It's been a minute since we've done a pay-per-view in an arena. So it's going to be good to get back in there. The top 3 fights are unbelievable and very exciting, and fans are excited for them. So, I'm looking forward to it.
What are your thoughts on the Volkanovski-Brian Ortega fight? How do you see that going down?
It's an unbelievable fight. Both guys are extremely talented. Both guys want this belt really badly, and it should be an incredible fight. Yeah, I'm excited to see how it plays out. I honestly, if you and I talked offline and you said, come on, what's your honest opinion on this fight? Who do you think wins this fight and how? I honestly couldn't tell you. It's a very, very good fight.
Fighters are getting really excited now when they get to fight in front of crowds. It just makes all the difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's been so long, and even this year we've been cranking right through this thing through the entire pandemic. But to get fans back in there, and every event we've done has been a sellout. So when you get inside this arena, it's sold out, and I don't know if you guys have seen any of the images that are going on here in the United States with college football right now. Insane. Like, college kids haven't been to a football game in 2 years. So now these football games are opening back up, and the crowd is electric. It's insanity. And it's hard to explain. It's fun to be back, with a sold out house.
Look, Dana, thank you so much for your time and all the very best for the weekend ahead.
Thank you.